What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about mastery and the important impact it can have on your character's stats as well as its performance. So mastery is going to be found here in your journal, and when you get to it, you'll see that you have enchanting mastery, and then you'll also see that you have alchemy mastery. Enchanting mastery comes from enchanting. All right, so whenever you roll suffixes and prefixes or reroll any of your gear at the blacksmith, that all counts towards your enchanting mastery. All right, it has 3 different sections: weapon, armor, accessory. All right, alchemy just has alchemy. There's only one category for it. All right, so if you're somebody who's been sitting on tons and tons of materials and you haven't been using them, you should be, because it's going to at least count towards your enchanting mastery. All right. In each of these categories, there are options that you can pick from that will have direct impact on the stats of the gear that you're wearing. All right. This is important to note, especially when it comes to comparing other items that you craft or other items that you pick up, because these stats that you select directly are applied to the gear that you have equipped, not the gear in your inventory. All right. So if something's in your inventory, its values aren't going to be accurately represented. Now, I say this because, for example, right here, right, this is 5 out of 10 flat attack, weapon attack, and spell damage. All right. And I have percent weapon attack and spell damage. That is directly applied to my weapons when they are equipped. So if I wanted to compare this berserker hatchet in my inventory here, okay, that's 284 out of 368 weapon damage value on it, attack damage value on it. But my equipped weapons look like they're both, 350 plus to 440 plus, right? And you're like, oh, these aren't even close. But that is because they are getting amplified by the stuff that I'm wearing. Notice now their values are different. This one axe is now 275 to 372, and this one is 273 to 357. And now suddenly this berserker hatchet looks a lot more appealing. Right? It's 284 to 368. It actually has a higher base damage than one of these axes. But as soon as I put it back on, you see it now goes back up to 355 to 463. Right? And if I throw on this berserker hatchet, okay, it's now up to 366 and 459. All right? So the gear that you have equipped, if you have stat points into your mastery that change their attack values, okay, they will alter the stats that are shown on your character sheet for your weapons, but not for the equipment that is in your inventory. So whenever you are comparing gear, if you have points into weapon, armor, accessory, things like that have influence on the gear's stats, you need to unequip it in order to do a direct comparison of the pieces of gear. Now, how influential can mastery be? Well, I'm going to unspec my character right now so that you can see a full value of it. It gets more expensive every time you respec it. You can respec as much as you want, but the cost of it will go up every time you do it per 24 hours. The cost of it resets every day at reset. So keep that in mind. So you saw how much damage we lost just there from that when we unspec'd. But, for an example, the first tier 1 here in weapons, okay? Here's the prerequisite for it. And we have, it's 5 out of 5, 5 to 5, flat weapon attack and spell damage. This one is for minion and sentry damage percent. All right? I don't use minions or sentries, so I'm going to put 1 point here. Okay? Points required. Great. That 1 point alone put us up 3,000 damage. Great. Right? That's a nice amount for the 1 point. And that is now going to be directly represented on our weapons. Okay? When you pick a trait to put a point into, it locks the other option from being used in that same row. You can pick one option from each row, and that is per category as well. Okay, so for weapon tier 1, we have flat attack and spell damage, and we have percent minion and sentry damage. So I put my points into the flat attack, and now it locks out the sentry. That's fine. In order to go to the next tier, you can click on it. You can see it says stage 1, you must use at least 3 points. So I have to put at least 3 points into it. Okay, and now that I've done that, we now can see that we have the next row unlocked. Okay, and this one has more options now. So this one has percent weapon attack and spell damage, percent weapon speed. So this is going to increase the weapon speed, right? So if we were looking at our weapon here, okay, you see the weapon speed is 1.67, all right? If we were to put points into weapon speed, it would increase the value that you see there based, an amount equivalent to whatever a 0.6 increase would be, all right? So gear critical rate. This is an incredibly valuable stat because the only way you're going to get to good crit values in this game is by having a high crit rate on your weapon itself. That's why for crit builds, you're looking to get, 150% plus gear critical rate percent in order to increase that crit on the weapon. So again, looking back here at this hatchet, okay, you see this one. Normally, my sprinkle axes here have a gear critical rate of 9, right? That's low. That's bad, okay? But this Berserker hatchet has 15.1. But that's because it has a 51% gear critical rate increase. That's still not very good, but it's better than, 15.1 is better than 9 if you were going for a crit build, all right? So that gear percent critical that you see here, this is a 3.5 increase on it. So if you're going for a gear crit build, this could be beneficial for you to look into as well. Then we have minion attack speed, sentry attack speed, and minion crit rate, sentry crit rate. So to get to the next tier, right, this one says here, we can select one of these options, and we have to have 3 points in tier 1. To get to this tier, we have to have 5 points used in tier 2. So we're going to go for 5 points here in tier 2. That's going to give us 20%, 20% weapon attack and spell damage increase. That's a 13k DPS increase just from this tier. And that is going to be, based as well on the value that we see here. But now we have this bottom row. All right, more options again. Now we have percent damage amp. As we all know, amplification increases is the highest value increasing type of stat we have. So there are very good things in these trees to have. And we got damage amp, crit damage, armor pen, dot rate, damage against enemies affected by status effects, minion and sentry amp, and minion critical damage and sentry critical damage. So we're going to put some points here into amp, right? So 1.2 there. I'm going to put 2 points into the amp. That gives us another 4k. But I'm going to put an additional point back here in this bottom tier for 3.4 for the flat attack. So we get a little more scaling there as well. But so and then now you want to level up your mastery so you can, you want to be able to put more points in here. It's the same thing with armor. The points that you use here are shared across all 3 categories. Okay. So if I want to spread my points out more, as you can see now, it's now 55,000 gold for me. It's gotten more expensive because I'm respecking again. Okay. Within the same day. There you go. You see all the damage that we just lost that came from it. Right? Armor, same thing. You pick one armor trait, it's going to lock out that one tier. But you can still go and put a point over here in the weapon tree as well. Accessories, armor has gear armor percent and dodge rate and gear barrier, as well as sentry armor, minion armor, HP regen, status effect dodge chance, elemental resists increases, enhanced skill rune duration, dampen damage taken, perfect dodge, chaos resistance even, block expertise and recovery speed, HP amp, and barrier amp. So, if you're having maybe difficulties with survivability, but your damage is fine, maybe you look to invest your mastery points into the armor tree to get some more survivability there. Accessories, we've got percent HP, right? That's 3% HP now added on from what the necklace would get. All right, so when your necklaces have HP values on them, it's a 3% HP increase. This one's minion and HP sentry, minion sentry HP. Damage percent, 10%. Minion damage and sentry percent, 10. Movement speed increase, stat increase, aura and seal effect percent increases. Max armor pen value increase, minion elemental pen, and potion effect. All right, so how you utilize your points is going to be very impactful to your build and the overall performance in which you are able to get out of it. All right, so we have a point there, and again, every time you spend a point in one of the tiers, it locks out the other options. So remember, only one per row in each category that you have, and your points are shared across all of these. So it's very important to do a lot of enchanting so that you can get your enchanting mastery up to get more points to be able to apply to your build. Alchemy is a little bit different. One, alchemy takes substantially longer to level up because it's only one category, right? So as you saw here with enchanting, you had weapon, armor, accessory. Alchemy is just alchemy. The other thing about it, you can see that we've put a point here into the alchemy side, which increases our synthesis and combining acceleration rate. We're still able to put a point over here. It doesn't lock out the tree options for you for alchemy. All right. And this one, potion brewing acceleration, this increases the speed of our potion crafting. Okay. So if we want to go to the next tier, we have to put 5 points into it. And you have to have expert combiner at level 3 or more. So we could go here. Okay. We could have 4 points here, and we could even put 1 point here. And that's going to open up this bottom row for us. We don't have to put all the points into here, but there is a minimum requirement of it. So we had to have at least 3 points in expert combiner. Okay. But we had to have a total of 5 points in the first tier used. Okay. So that opens up this second tier row. This one's more synthesis acceleration percent. Great. We can do that. And again, it shows you here, mastery points for the next tier. If we want to go to tier 3, we need 10 points used. I only have 7. We're not going to get there. All right. We can't go to this next row, but you have to have, again, modified recipe, at least 3 points into this one. So this one is a little more free for you to mix up where you want to invest your points. And as you go down, there's some really beneficial stuff at the very bottom of alchemy. So if you don't have something running in your alchemy table, you should have it be charms, have it be essence combination, have it be skill runes, have it be maps, something to use your alchemy desk and get contribution towards your alchemy mastery, because you're going to get to these really awesome options at the bottom row. This one's off behind my camera, but it's called Beast Breaths. It able to produce a unique grade potion. Beast Breath increases your movement speed, and movement speed does not fall below base value for the duration of it. And the elixir effect is increased by 20% when using movement speed elixirs. Okay. This one is Excavator Soul, able to produce unique grade potion, increased charm drop chance and item drop rarity for the duration of it. Elixir effect increased by 50% when using chance increase elixir. The next one, we've got instantly removes bleed, burn, and poison status effects upon using HP potions. So whenever you use an HP potion, it will automatically remove bleed, burn, and poison. That's great. These are great, status effect removals that you get from using an HP pot. This is a very, nice extra effect to have for your potion. Mana Potion dampens mana cost by 15% for 5 seconds upon using a mana potion. So when you use a mana potion for the next 5 seconds, all of your mana costs are dampened by 15%. That's also really nice and explains a lot when you guys are watching, KR videos and you're wondering why the hell their mana never goes down below a certain value. They, first of all, they have finished builds. Second of all, they probably have these potion benefits as well that are factoring into it. This one is when you use an enhancing potion effect, it instantly removes stun, freeze, and bind status upon using an enhanced potion, and it makes you immune to crowd control for 1 second. And then this other one is alchemy price discount. 1%. Okay. This one's separate. It doesn't have any special effects to it. But, you know, these are, you know, really nice things that you're able to get if you invest your points into them, right? There are very good and valuable tools that come from your alchemy mastery and your enchanting mastery. So do not neglect these. Again, if you have a bunch of materials sitting around, you're not using your alchemy desk and you're not crafting on gear or, you know, trying to get some rolls, do so, because it does have direct benefit to your character's performance. So if you haven't been doing enchanting and you haven't been using your alchemy desk a lot, highly recommend you get started. All right. Have something running in your alchemy desk always, and, you know, always look to enchant on gear that you get, even just a little bit with your excess materials, particularly your blue mats. You should have an absolute, if you're in mapping at the end game, you should have an abundance of blue materials. Just start crafting stuff. Maybe you get lucky and hit some really good rolls on something. Who knows? All right. So just wanted to talk about mastery for you all. It is something that is very valuable and can have a really good influence on your character's performance. And so definitely something that I wanted to bring attention to and put an emphasis on its importance to you all. So if you have any further questions about this, as always, feel free to drop into our Twitch channel while we're live and ask us there. And I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Other than that, take care, have a good one, and we'll catch you in the next one.